Adequate insurance coverage is foundational to good financial planning. Most of us insure our car, our house, our health, our life, and income. Insurance for these risks is straightforward, standardized, and easy to find. When it comes to paying for long-term care insurance, it's hard to know if you need insurance in the first place. And if so, how much do you need? These and other questions will be answered by our guest today on Weekend Connection. So let's get connected. My guest today is Jesse Sloan, Executive Director of the American Association for Long-Term Care Insurance, an educational advocacy group. He has also served in this capacity since the organization was established in 1998. AALTCI is recognized as one of the nation's leading advocates for long-term care planning. Jesse has authored over 20 consumer and professional guides on the subject of long-term care insurance planning, and is a frequent guest on television and radio. Jesse, welcome to Weekend Connection today. We're excited to have you a part of our discussion.
Oh, thank you. It's an important topic and one that a lot of people don't like to think about, let alone plan for. But it is really important that people at least think about it.
Right. Fidelity has estimated the cost of health care over a 20-year span for a 65-year-old couple who is retiring now to be about $280,000. Now, this doesn't even include things like nursing home or long-term care. So, in light of this, Jesse, what is the best age to get long-term care insurance? Now, is it right before we think we need it in our 70s or 80s, or should we start thinking about it earlier than that? What is the determining factor on this?
So let me answer that question, but with a bit of a preface, okay? Because most people have a couple of misconceptions. There's healthcare costs, and then there's long-term care costs. When you're older, okay, healthcare, while Fidelity, and I've read those reports, give a lot of staggering, scary numbers. Mm-hmm. I'm 66, we have Medicare. You might have a Medicare Advantage or a Medicare supplement plans. Those things generally cover health care costs. Not all always, but most of them. Long-term care is not covered. So the first question is what's long-term care? Mm-hmm. And what that is as we get older, and while it can happen at younger ages because of accidents or conditions like strokes or things like that, as we get older, we age. And the aging process, while it's gorgeous and beautiful, ain't pretty. Mm-hmm. And that means that we're able to do less and less than at 90, you can't do what you could do at 28. We all would love to, but you basically can't. And so when you live a long life, the likelihood of needing services to help you doing what's called activities of daily living could be as simple as getting dressed, could be as simple as getting up out of bed, or out of a chair. Or it certainly could be more complex, such as if you have dementia or Alzheimer's. So the likelihood, if you live a long life, the likelihood is that you will need some long-term care. Now, most people are going to need and want these services in their own home. And that's where something like long-term care insurance really comes in, because long-term care insurance can provide care in your own home, in assisted living, or, yes, if you are one of those who needs to go into a skilled nursing home, it will cover those there. Now, you asked the operative and the all-important question, which is when do you have to start thinking about it?
Right.
Of course, we all start thinking about it, 2 days before we need it. It's like, when do we think about, our car insurance? About 2 seconds after we've had a car accident,
Right.
The problem with long-term care insurance is that doesn't work. It doesn't work, by the way, with car insurance either. You have to start thinking about long-term care insurance, if you want that as an option, when two things happen. One, you are able to health qualify for the policies. And the insurance companies do not automatically give them to everybody. They become more restrictive. And after about 70, it's very hard to qualify for these policies. So you want to generally start in your I say, mid to late 50s, and certainly I advise people to do it before they qualify for Medicare at 65. And the reason that I say that, if you think about it, I qualified for Medicare last year. Wonderful. Love this benefit. What do I start doing? I start taking advantage of all the preventative health care services that Medicare provides. I start seeing this doctor. I start going for that procedure. All wonderful things that are going to help me live a long life. But each time you go to the doctor, they write something down in the records or they prescribe a new drug. All good for living a long life. But those are the things that could make it impossible to get long-term care insurance. So you want to do it generally when you're younger, still able to health qualify. Mid-50s, before you qualify for Medicare at 65. If you're in your young 70s, you can still try, but you're going to have to be in pretty good health.
Mm-hmm. Jesse, are all policies the same between companies for the same amount of coverage, or are they different?
No, and this is a tough one. There are about a dozen companies today, major companies, who offer long-term care insurance. And while they all kind of look alike, and that's why I say kind of. If you read, the 4-page online brochure, they all sound exactly alike, but the moving parts are significantly different. For that reason, and because you only buy long-term care insurance one time, and I won't go into all the reasons, but your listeners are going to have to trust me. This is not like other insurance, where you see the ads, hey, you could buy, the same coverage for less. Mm-hmm. Once you buy and qualify for long-term care insurance, it almost never pays, and you're never going to switch. So for that reason, we believe ardently that it pays to start the process by talking to a specialist. And a specialist is someone who knows the various company policies and is appointed, and that's a key word for consumers, appointed to sell those policies, because they can tell you the little nuances. And I'll just use a little nuance. So, most people reading online will read, these policies offer a 90-day elimination period or deductible. And that's true. That's sort of standard. And there's a logical reason for that, because if you go into a skilled nursing home, Medicare generally will pay some or all of the expenses for the first 100 days. And typically people can cover the balance themselves. But if you get care in your own home, and especially if you're a single woman or a woman on her own, you don't want a 90-day deductible for your home care benefit.
Right.
Well, some of the policies will allow you to have instantaneous coverage if you're receiving care in your own home. No deductible period. So the policies look alike, smell alike, but boy, when you start peeling back the skin of the onion, there's a great deal of difference.
My guest today is Jesse Sloan, Executive Director of the American Association for Long-Term Care Insurance, and this is Weekend Connection on BBN. When one thinks about long-term care and long-term care insurance, I'm sure there are dozens, if not hundreds of questions that come to mind. But Jesse, what are some of the crucial questions to ask an agent before buying a policy?
No, exactly. So first, all agents work for you, the consumer. They don't get paid a nickel. Their compensation is built into the policy. And all the policies, while the policy language and the provisions and the options are different, it's not like buying a car where, you can have two identical cars and one guy can cut you a better deal and the other guy can't. The policies in that regard are standard. So the first thing I believe a consumer wants to do is shop for a knowledgeable agent. This, I believe, after doing this since the late 1980s, is a specialized field. Just like some fields in medical care are specialized, this is specialized. And so you want someone who, A, has been selling long-term care insurance for a number of years, 3, 4, 5. Secondly, they sell a number of policies a year. A specialist will generally only do long-term care insurance. And third, This is the most important, and this is the question, the word to write down. Any agent can tell you, oh, I looked at company A, and company A is no good. Company B, the one that I'm recommending, is much better. Well, are they doing that because it's true, or are they doing it because they can't sell you company A and can't earn a commission? So the critical word is appointed. That is insurance industry jargon. Appointed means the insurance agent can sell and earn a commission by selling that particular company's product. Once you have someone who's appointed, and a specialist usually is appointed with 3, 4, 5 of the major companies, but they can tell you the pricing and the benefits of all of them, but they at least can sell you and compare. Then what I recommend to consumers is many agents take what I call an off-the-shelf approach. They sort of look and they've read all the same online articles that everybody reads that says, oh, this is the standard. This is what people buy. And so they give you one option, and often you look and say, well, that must be the only option for me. It's not true. You should ask the agent for what I call a good, better, and best approach or options. Good coverage, which is going to be more affordable, the most affordable option. Better coverage, which will cost a little bit more in insurance premiums for more benefits. And the best, just like when we fly on an airplane, you get to choose. You can take first class, you can take business class. Most of us fly coach.
Right.
At least I do.
This is Weekend Connection on the Bible Broadcasting Network, and we're talking with Jesse Sloan, Executive Director of the American Association for Long-Term Care Insurance. Jesse, you pointed out the crucial question of health qualifying. What kind of a process does one go through in order to qualify and then purchase a long-term plan? And is there a medical exam that is required?
There might be. It will depend on your age. Again, if you are taking, generally, if you're taking what I call, the common medications today, blood pressure, cholesterol, things like that, you're okay. The insurance companies will look at your height and weight. Obesity is a major issue today, and it's a reason that many people will need care. Medical science can keep us alive a lot longer, but not prevent us from aging and aging poorly. If you are taking multiple medications, talk to the insurance specialist. And here's the important reason why. Because if you are declined by one company, you may be accepted by another company. But if you've been declined, often all the other companies might automatically decline you. And that's because the cost of health underwriting an individual can be $600 or $800. They don't want to go through that expense if they think you're a risk. So if you are taking, I always tell consumers, if you're taking 3 medications, a day, or you have some existing conditions, that's the time to talk immediately to a long-term care insurance specialist, explain what you have, and even see if you're going to be insurable.
We have been talking with Jesse Sloan, Executive Director of the American Association for Long-Term Care Insurance. Jesse, you've been talking about specialists there at AALTCI, available to guide us into the specifics of long-term care. Is there a cost involved for this service? Give us all the specifics, your phone number and website.
Absolutely. So people can also call. We're based in Los Angeles. We're the national organization, but we are located on the sunny West Coast. So our phone number is area code 818-597-3227, 818-597-3227, and we gladly answer consumer calls. So we don't charge, obviously, when we're talking to people. Can't give, lots of time, but we do our best. We can connect you with somebody who is licensed for long-term care, short-term care, and appointed with those multiple companies, you can access them on the association's website. And if you don't have a pencil, just write down American Association for Long-Term Care Insurance. Do a Google search, and you'll find us. We're a .org, not a .com. They don't charge either, and their focus is educating consumers. Sometimes they will spend an hour, 2 hours, even more talking to a consumer, giving them advice and giving them comparisons, and there's no cost, there's no obligation. So, the issue is so many people call us when they are 85 or their parents are 85. And mom needs long-term care. Mom's just been diagnosed, with Alzheimer's and needs care. And the doctor told her she needs long-term care insurance. I'm sorry, it's too late. She's too old. She already can't health qualify. So you have to do this when you're still young enough to health qualify, when the premiums are affordable.
Well, Jesse, again, thank you for joining us on Weekend Connection today. I believe all the information has been very informative, and I know very helpful for many of our listeners. Thank you again for joining us.
It's certainly been my pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to this feature, a production of BBN, the Bible Broadcasting Network. BBN provides 24-hour Christian programming, great Christian music, and Bible teaching. Listen to BBN by clicking the link in the description.